Welcome to All Things SPVs, a Sally educational series designed to simplify the world of special purpose vehicles. Today's episode, how to file a Form ID, the critical first step in your securities filings journey. Before you can file a Form D with the SEC or complete your blue sky filings at the state level, you need a CIK code. And to get that CIK code, you file a Form ID with the SEC. And All Things Security Filings begins with a Form ID. Think of Form ID as your request for SEC credentials. Without it, you can't access the EDGAR system to submit a Form D, and without a Form D, your SPV isn't compliant with federal or state security rules. So let's walk through exactly how to file a Form ID. As always, this is not legal advice. Talking to a qualified attorney is always wise. Additionally, this video is all about SPVs and not meant to be relevant to other use cases. Let's get started. We begin by going to the Filer Management website. If you have a login.gov account or not yet, this is where we begin. filermanagement.edgarfiling.sec.gov. From here, find the Sign In with the login.gov button and click it. If you do not have a login.gov account or need a new one, this is where you set one up. Click the Create an Account button, and you're going to follow the prompts. Put in an email, select the language, agree to the terms. They're going to send an email to your email that you've submitted. You're going to go to the email and click on that email. You're going to go through the various prompts. It's pretty simple. You're going to have to set up a two-factor authentication. Once you've set that up, you're going to return and log in. Now that you have your account or you had an account before, go ahead and log in. Hit submit. Once you log in, your account's going to look something like this. The brown typically means that nothing's there yet, and blue is links that are live and can be used. So what we're going to go for here is apply for EDGAR access, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to get that CIK code so that we can then use the EDGAR system to file our Form D. So we're going to apply for EDGAR access. Click the bar, it opens up, and it's going to ask you three questions: new, existing, resume, and submit. So we're going to be doing new. We've got a brand new SPV. We need to get this CIK code, and so we're going to go through that flow. Existing would be we already have a CIK code, and we're coming back for another reason. Resume and submit is, I'll show that process later, but you can halfway through, or there is the need to stop and come back to the system. You're going to be using this resume and submit option later on. So let's get started. Click new, hit continue. It's going to give you some instructions, some information, hit continue. And now we're going to start going through the questions. We're doing this for an SPV, so we're going to think of SPV with every single question that we encounter. First question: is this an application a company or an individual? It's a company. It's an SPV. Move forward. The full legal name. This is the full legal name of the SPV. This is not a nickname. This is that full legal name of the SPV. It's that Delaware LLC name or some other jurisdiction that you've selected. It's the name that we've put into the documents. So full legal name. Moving on. Application type filer is the correct selection. Next section, only for non-public draft. Skip that section. Applicants, mailing address, and preferred contact information. So this application is going to ask for an address and a contact and a phone number and an email 4, 5, 6 times. So you can use the exact same information every single time, or it may be different. So I'm going to be throwing in various information and talking through it. But you can also select boxes that pull data forward and fills in future fields information that you put in prior fields. So I added an address here. Anytime it says optional, my personal policy is to skip it. Then we've got questions in here right now, and we're going to see it later. Have there been violations in the past? Criminal convictions, things like that. For me, and assuming you, it's always going to be no. So hitting no. Let's talk about these buttons down here at the bottom. Save and download, that's that return option. You can save and download and then come back and drop in that file, and it'll repopulate this application. So you can save and download whenever you would like and have that in your download folders. But I'm going to hit continue and move forward. So now we're into part 2. We're going to be talking about the company information. First question here is about the number, the company's tax or federal identification number. You do not have to have one. And so because of that, I don't put one in. It allows you to put in zeros. So you're going to put in, my opinion, I put in all zeros, if any. So I'm going to skip that. Legal name, doing business as, going to skip that. Need to answer this question. State of incorporation. For me, all of my SPVs are Delaware. That turns gray, skip that. If different, skip that. Fiscal year, for me, it's always 12/31. So that is December 31st is year end. You could put in something different, but for SPVs, that is typically the correct inclusion. Primary website, if any, going to skip that. Is this a company in good standing? It's a brand new SPV, so yes. And now we're going to get into some additional information about the company's primary business information. So it says here, primary business information is the same as the mailing address and the contact in part 1. So you can click that and it'll populate the information that you had before, or you can add new information. So I'm going to just pull that information forward, and then now it's going to require a phone number. So I'm going to put in a phone number, fake phone number, and then single member company. You should select yes if the company only has a single individual who acts as the sole director. So this basically means you have one person who's in charge. So maybe it's a single GP or a single organizer SPV, then you would say yes. And then it was going to ask you for that single member information. If you say no, it will then require you to add 2 individuals to this application. I'm going to say yes because I like simple. So it says here, although single members are acceptable, they like you to have multiple people, multiple designated individuals. Thank you. I'm going to stick with the single. Hit continue. Now we've moved on to part 3, prospective account administrator information. This comes from the final question of the last page about administrator. So on this page, we're inputting the account administrators. Now these are humans that are basically in charge of the SPV. And on the last page, I selected one administrator. And so we're only having this is only going to ask us for one individual. At the bottom, it's going to give us a chance to reconsider and add more. One of the reasons to add more would be that you have a managing partner. So you're going to need somebody that has authority for this SPV. But you may have associate team members who do the work, need to do the work, going to get information, going to get emails, things like that. And so you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 different people on this application. If it's up to me, I'm going to go as simple as possible. But large organizations, lots of team members, you may want to have multiple team members on this application, and that's a great feature to use. So filling this out, putting in the name. Now, business title and position is important. The EDGAR system and the SEC do care about the title. If you put junior associate or something like that, that is not what they're looking for here. You can have that, but on a second or third administrator. If you're only going to have one administrator, or if you're going to have lots of administrators, at least one of them needs to be somebody of significance in the position. So you're going to want to put somebody here that is in charge, managing partner, director, managing director. So one of these senior titles is needed. It's going to ask, is this person an employee? And you're going to say yes. Even though it's an SPV, even if it is, you're not technically this employee. They're really looking like, are you in charge? Are you a part of this team? Are you an employee? Question mark. So yes, you're in charge. This person is in charge, and I'm saying that you absolutely need to put somebody in charge here. It's possibly is you, or somebody that's above you. You need to have that person in here. Again, it's going to ask about business address and contact information. This system does allow you to have a lot of different addresses, emails, phone numbers, a lot of different individuals. Again, this is an SPV. You're going to have an organizer or two. You're going to have perhaps maybe a small team. So these don't get too complex in my experience. So you can pull in information from part 2 or part 1. You can see right here, part 1 or part 2. You can add new information. You can add a non-US location. But I'm just going to pull in from part 1, but you're welcome to add new information here, which is nice for the system to give so much optionality. Now we're getting into email. This is the first time we're putting in an email, and this email is going to be an important email. And this is that email I talked about earlier in this video, which is where the emails about your application are going to go to. So if you filled out your login.gov account with, let's say, a personal email, and then you put a business email here, all the communication about this application is going to be going to this business email, not the personal email. And also this communication is going to go to basically an account not yet set up under this business email. So if you used a personal email or whatever email you use to set up your login.gov, that should be the email that you're using here with these administrator accounts, or at least this first number 1 administrator account, because that is where you're going to find communication. And then when you log in, that's where you're going to find the information, the account, if you will, and we'll show that in a video here about it. But this is an important decision right here as to what email you're going to input. So I've added my emails, I've added a phone number. Again, it's asking questions. Do we have violations, criminal convictions? No. Would you like to add a second account administrator? It's going to give you that shot to add another person. I'm going to say no, but if it's right for you, hit yes. I'm going to hit save and download. Why not? And now we're going to hit continue. On to part 4. Billing information. Now, with SPVs, with Form ID, CIK codes, Form Ds, there's not a lot of billing really going on here. And so for me, this is just a repeat mostly of part 4. You're going to select perhaps somebody. If you're only having that one administrator, then it's going to be the same person. If you have more than one administrator, maybe it's one of the other team members, maybe it's a brand new team member. I like to keep it simple. Like I've said many times, I'm just going to continue to put in the same individual, the same person, and continue to use the same information that I've used in the system already. So I've put in the information. I'm going to continue just to use the same information I've put into part 1. I'm going to use the same email that I used before. keep going with the phone number. Have we had any violations? No. Hit continue. I purposely didn't put in the employer information. Just to point this out, it's going to require that you put in the employer name. So you can put in the name of the GP, you could put the name of the organization, the organizer, the management company, something like that. You could also put in the name of the SPV. I'm just going to put in here Sally Management Company. But so you're going to have to you will have to put something into this field. Hit continue. Now we're on to part 5. Again, more names, more addresses, emails, phone numbers, questions about violations. And so it starts to feel repetitive, particularly if you have a small team and you're just putting in the same person over and over again. So let's continue. So starting to fill this out, I'm going to continue to pull in the information that I had before. You have to remember that this EDGAR system is for lots of different filings with lots of different companies, individuals. We're doing SPVs. So there's a lot less complexity around SPVs. So some of this stuff just doesn't really apply. We don't have typically large teams. We don't have a lot of nuances to it. So it's just going to feel a lot of repetitive work or repetitive inputs. Is this Form D being signed pursuant to a power of attorney? That would be if you have a third party doing it, if you have an attorney doing it. This is you doing it. So the answer is no. And we're going to hit continue. Now we're into part 6, documents. This can be a little bit complex, but we're going to walk through it. So what it is requiring you to do is we just filled out all these forms, all these pages. This system is going to turn that into a PDF document. You're going to be required to download it, sign it, and get a notary republic stamp on it. Then you're going to scan it, and you're going to rename it, and then you're going to bring it back to this system. So this is a security check, if you will. This is a protection. Think of a CIK code a little bit like a special unique identifier, a fingerprint, kind of like an EIN for your SPV. In the EDGAR system, the SEC is protecting you. By making this somewhat difficult, it's protecting third parties from easily getting a CIK code for your SPV and then doing filings or whatever on your behalf. Now, I don't see a lot of risk here of third parties wanting to steal your information, but it is possible, but this is a protection for you. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be reviewing. So this is a page that we're going to be coming back to. It's almost a little bit out of order. It's here at Documents. I'm going to save and download, just continue to save it and have a file that I can bring back into the system. I'm going to review and print. So basically I did nothing on that page. I need to review, and so it's showing me everything that I've put in, right? Part 1, we selected new, it's a company, name of the SPV, address, next entity, everything we put in, address, emails. Part 3, names, address, email. Part 4, billing information, name, address. Part 5, signatures, who's going to sign this thing, address, email. Part 6 is documents, so we kind of skipped that, right? Because now we're into this, and now we're going to need to get this notary. So this is showing you kind of what it's going to look like when it prints out, and then that exact flow format. And so now it's going to ask you to print the application for notarization. So we're going to click this button. It's going to throw up a PDF onto your screen, and then you're going to end up printing it. So click the button, print the document, and then you're going to need to, it's going to look just like this on the printed document. You're going to need to sign it. So you got the name, title, you're going to be signing it. And then you have the name of the notary, the date, and then the notary is going to need to stamp the document right here. And then you're going to take that PDF with the stamped notary document, and you're going to scan it into your computer and get it back, scan it, into your printer, scan it back into your computer, and then we're going to come back here and we're going to upload it. So this is what your PDF looks like. This Form ID, it's going to have all the information that we discussed, all the information you put in, all the information is showed to you on the screen. So everything's here, and then you need to sign and go get a notary to stamp this. A notary could be at a shipping store, like a UPS or FedEx shipping store. A bank has them. If you have a banker that you go to a lot, they have notary stamps. But go get a notary stamp to stamp this, you sign it, and then you scan this back into your computer. Notary, you've come back to your computer and you're going to resume the Form ID flow. So you've logged back in and you're going to be going here to the apply for EDGAR access again, but this time we're going to resume and submit. If you recall earlier, I kept hitting that save and download button, and it downloads an EIS file onto your computer. So you're going to click this button. You're then going to go and get the latest. So you click there, you go find that file, that EIS file on your computer. You load it, hit continue, and it loads all your stuff back into the system, and you are now back to where you were before. You can scan through it, you can change things if you need to. I'm going to just quickly jump to the document part. All my answers, I believe, are correct. So I'm back here to part 6, and I now have my document ready, signed, notarized, scanned. I'm going to go find it on my computer, bring it, add it. Boom, read. File names must be lowercase and no longer than 32 characters in length, including the extension. The names must start with a letter and may contain numbers and no spaces, so on and so forth. So this document has to be very specifically named. And in fact, even the PDF at the end of it must be in lowercase. So you can see here the name of the file that I uploaded, and you can see PDF here at the end. This is a difficult step in the process, and the one that I think is the hardest. I'm going to walk through it with you. I'm not an IT genius, so this is the only way I have figured out to get the file in the right format so the EDGAR system will accept it. If others out there can find a different way, know a better way, figure out a better way, please hit us all up in the chat so that we can all learn and benefit. I cannot figure out how to do it on a Windows machine, but I can figure out how to do it on a Mac machine. Here I have my jump drive with the signed, notarized, scanned document on it. Here it is. So what I need to do is I need to move this onto the desktop. I'm going to drag this onto the desktop. I'm going to rename it. So in this rename, I want to make sure that I rename every element of it, even the extension. So I'm just going to say Sally form ID .pdf, all lowercase. And now I'm actually going to open it, and I'm going to export and make sure that the name here is in compliance with the requirements. Format PDF. I want to replace it. Yes, I want to replace it. And now I have it in the format that is needed. I am not going to take this over to the Windows machine. I'm going to now log into the Form ID system from this Mac machine and file it from here. Click choose from folder. It's going to be that file that we just worked on. Open. I don't see any red text. And this validate and add document highlights, turns blue, which is a success light for me. Click it. It loads the document up, and we're good to go. We did it. We're now going to click review and print. Move to the next step. Review and print is another opportunity to review the application. You can click edit any of these parts, but another opportunity to review. I'm going to quickly move through this. Obviously, if you need to edit, do, but we're at the finish line here. So as we get to the finish line, we're done. We've got everything in here. We have our document uploaded. We have reviewed everything in the file and the application, and it's time to hit submit. The dialog box will pop up on the screen and give you a session number. It's going to tell you submission successful and that it's received your Form ID application, and it's going to assign you an accession number. That accession number is important. You should capture that number, store it, print, screen grab, copy paste it into some other document to keep it. It's important for you to have. Now it's the waiting game. It can take up to 2 weeks for them to return back to you through email the CIK code. So now you need to go to that email account that you had on your application and wait for the SEC to email you back with your CIK code. And with that CIK code, we'll move on to the next phase, which is codes, Form D, and then Blue Sky. There's a blog post that mirrors this educational video with direct links to key websites at sally.co. This concludes our All Things SPV session on how to file a Form ID, the critical first step in your securities filings journey. For all things SPVs, go to sally.co.